All right, so it has come time to start building the headers on the 55. So these are going to be a little bit different in the sense that it's going to be a lot more economical. The quality will be the same, the appearance will be the same, but it's going to be a lot cheaper. Cheaper in the sense of between 5,000 would be like a high-end traditional set, and we're trying to target 3,000. So, which is not too far from a really good set of high-quality stainless steel headers that you can buy now. They're like $2,500, depending on what. I seen one where for like a new Mustang it was like $3,700 for a set of headers, and that's that's not custom fit. That's just off the shelf. So what we ended up getting was we got the flanges from. No, these are from Summit.
Oh, those are
like these are budget. So stainless steel header company wanted a lot, like triple for the flanges. Now the flanges are 3/8 thick, and they're stainless. Summit did not have the size we needed. These are 2 1/4. So what I did was I took some 2 1/4 tubing that we had from Andrew's project, and I just cut slivers, and I put them in here, and I TIG welded them to reduce the size. So that way, so now it's the same size as the actual the U-bends that we bought. So those fit here, like so, just like this. So then we're gonna weld it anyway, so you won't see it. So that's gonna go there. The collectors are actually pretty nice because those matter. These are 3.5 inch slip fit. So basically, they're gonna go just like this. See, just like that. So they fit in there just like that, and then take them out. They're about the same. Yeah, there you go. So, and it's a high flow design, so it should make all the power, or allow the motor to make all the power it's potentially can make. So yeah, and it's all mild steel. So
what about the collectors?
Sorry.
Those look stainless.
So these are stainless. The collectors are stainless, and these are mild steel. So we use 309.
Flange is stainless too, right?
Yeah, flange stainless too. But the tubing, so it was going to be like $2,000 and some change, just for the material, and we were able to keep it under 1,000, I think around 1,000 for all the collectors, the tubing, the flanges. Yeah, so that's just not bad, right? So I figure. Oh,
You're talking about pricing.
so basically, if you use stainless, eventually, even if it's 304L, it will rust, at least a little bit, or change colors. It doesn't stay nice forever. If you use steel, then you can powder coat it, and it's good for a very long time. So the headers I've had on my
You
Chevelle.
mean ceramic coat?
Ceramic, what did I say?
Powder coat?
Ceramic. If I ceramic coat them, then they'll be good for 20 years. As long as you don't overdo them. So that's what we're gonna do. It was much more cost effective to use steel tubing. Now this is 18 gauge. This is 18 gauge, so it's I believe it's 6.2. No, it's actually within it now. It's probably like 50 something thousandths wall thickness.
You say 16 or 18?
18 gauge. Yeah. So I think yeah. So that's the premise, is to build a really good high quality set of headers for relatively a really good price, and not spend a ton of energy and time. As far as beyond what we need to do to execute the goal.
The bends they look tight too, so it should be easier than what I had.
Yeah. So we do have pie cuts that we could deploy if we need to move them quick, like change the radius at all.
I think those won't be fine.
Yeah, the only side we might need a pie cut for is the string shaft. So I'll kind of show, I guess, what we currently have set up right now. So
Next thing Okay, so I'll probably do this first tube to the bottom left, second tube, bottom right, this tube, top left, back tube, top right.
I think this side's gonna be the easiest.
Yeah. The goal is to do 2 tubes a day. That's like the bare minimum, especially for this side.
Well, if you don't have to do
this
pie
side-
cuts, then it should be relatively quick.
Yeah. Basically, it will be like the Impala.
Yeah.
This side is going to be a little more challenging just because I have to think about, when I start here, I still have to think about the room that I'll have for this back too. Because I have to share space. So,
I mean, there might be a case where this tube comes over and like this
yeah.
down.
If this tube were to go this way, then there
Tight.
would be like no chance of it. You'd definitely have to take this off, no doubt.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd have the steering shaft go through the headers,
Yeah.
which is ideal. But like on the Impala, like I kind of did that same thing where you go up and then like around. Or it went forward and then back. Kind of looks cool.
Well, maybe you could do that on both sides so they match.
Yeah, that's what I did on the Impala.
Yeah.
If you look at the
So you-
Impala, they're
that-
identical.
Yeah, and that way you don't need to do that. But if you make them equal length, then obviously that's a bonus. All right. All right. Well, looks like we have a decent game plan. And I like this car because it's easy to work on. You might have to take off the front wheels.
Yeah. Possibly.
Set it on jack stands. But that's why it's on the 4-post, not the 2-post.
Yeah.
So
Let me see it. Just to get a reference of just space. So like if I could probably like have them turn up and then go down.
yeah,
Because then that would give you a ton of space for the,
spark plugs.
yeah, and then for the header bolts as well.
Let's put some of that crash paper on his firewall too. So that way we don't accidentally bump it
Scratch it.
with the header. Hell pissed. But yeah, that's cool. All right, so this time tomorrow, we also have to do the converter on the Cougar. So, but that's not
And
here
then what
yet.
about that C10?
As soon as we get this freaking other job done, then yeah. I mean, I told him this week or next week. So hopefully we can get this week, get the Cougar done this week, and then go from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's already waited. I don't know how many months.
Yeah.
A couple more days are gonna make a difference. So, all right. Looks things. You know, one thing is, I know he's probably a ways away from starting it, but I would definitely like to hear it.
Yeah, me too. We didn't get to hear the Impala. So
That's yeah.
kind of sucks. We did the whole exhaust.
Yeah, I know. He does want a pipe like the Chevelle.
Okay.
So he wants a merge, the merge
I
collector.
figured that we would do X pipe with subfloor.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's why I wanted them in.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Kind of cool.
But he wants that Chevelle sound, which is very unique. So crazy sound.
I will say ours sound similar though. The H1 and the
Yeah,
they sound similar.
it's because of the merge.
Yep.
I think the only thing different is mine. The residence time is longer, so it has that more like high pitch, I think. And it's not a huge motor, so it probably just naturally is different. But the cam's different. But yeah, if your merge portion was longer, it would probably sound even higher RPM.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool no matter what. But yeah, so that's the plan. All right, so tomorrow, some of these should be over here,
Yeah, should transform.
and I would just set the tripod up.
I'm thinking about getting like a chest mounted GoPro set. Just like see my hands work.
That'd be kind of cool,
And
actually.
just
That
like time lapse it.
that vantage point. I mean, can you do that and
See,
have
like
it
a first person point of view of like me actually putting a header together.
just put it like on your neck?
On your chin.
If you could do that, and not be getting it not be in the way. I mean, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, all right, sounds good. All right, so we got the way Andrew has it set up here. Is that how it's gonna go? Just like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
So I got a 3.5 inch section with like a half a pie cut, just to get it angled up. And then I also like the looks. If we're gonna do an X pipe, I like the look of it being angled, and then it's already closer.
Yeah. So you kind of start heading in that direction, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And then also, I put it kind of far back so that it's more of a longer tube. Also gives me more space to work with the tubes around this starter and the housing.
Okay. Nice.
And then yeah, it's close to the body.
Yeah, you won't really be able to see it from underneath the car, which is
Yeah.
the target, is to be able to, or not be able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be sick. Is that gonna be so that won't have a V bend on it,
It will.
or is that just to tack it in place so it doesn't?
That's just hold it in place.
Okay.
Yeah. So like on the Impala, I put a all thread through the frame. But this frame is a little angled, so it'd be a little tough. So it just kind of.
Yeah, that's cool. That works.
It was fast, easy.
So we're trying to budget. What would we say? 2 hours per tube.
3.
3 hours per tube. So if we can get 3 hours per tube, that's our target. I think some tubes will be faster than others, obviously. The one that's on this side, the steering shaft, that's going to be probably the most challenging tube. So we can, if we need to, we can get rid of this this plate here, because I think that's for the old clutch, and doesn't need that. If we absolutely have to move that
I
out
got
of the way.
the flange. I just need to tighten it down, but I got the flange on that side already.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see. It's actually. Okay. Yeah, there we go. It's the start of something special.
Alright, so last night I got 2 tubes done. Made sure there's plenty clearance for this upper control arm. When it cycles upward, that's not gonna hit the exhaust. Also, this is the pivot point right here, so if it does go up, this really, you'd have to be about this high to hit that, and I don't think it has that much upward travel, so that's good. Also, leaves room for the header bolts to come out on both of them. I try to make this tube as long as possible without being ugly, because I would like them ideally to be equal length, but obviously this is a shorter distance, so try to make up for that length with the bend. And then also I try to keep in mind trying to get like a tool in here for the spark plugs and leave enough room for, these are studs, but we're gonna use like bolts instead. These are just for mock-up purposes. But yeah, I try to leave some room for those to come out if they're bolts. So Yeah, so the tube came out really nice. You see it's not touching. So today I want to at least get one tube done, and then we might get a torque converter for this. So depending on when that comes is basically what's going to allow me to finish the rest of them. So if it doesn't come until late, I'll end up finishing both of these, and if it comes early, then I'll just get one done and then start putting that back together. We would like to get this Cougar running by the weekend, and then hopefully get another car in. So I'm gonna start working on this tube, try to figure out some routing, and let's see what happens. All right, so we got one header side done. We just got to weld them up. But before we weld them, I need to put the fender well in the engine bay, just to make sure that that top in the first tube doesn't interfere. And then I also took off that bracket for the stock linkage for the clutch. Instead of just cutting it like this one right here, I just decided to drill out the spot welds. And then next I gotta cover the firewall with the plastic, and then install this side to see basically how much room I have, because I have to work around that steering shaft as well. So I'm gonna put paper or plastic, and then install the fender wells, and then start working on building out the headers. All right, so I had a change of plans for the number one header tube, and I was going to route it up and over this, but I realized that it's gonna be pretty hard to work on if I were to do that. It'd be hard getting a wrench or even a socket on this, and basically trying to remove it. Also, if I were to go up and over, it would be in the way of this spark plug, and basically getting a wrench or a socket tool or a spark plug tool. So it would just be hard to work on. Another thing is, so for the first tubes on both sides, I wanted to make them look pretty close to being symmetrical or the same style. So this side, you can see it's pretty level, and you can see it kind of has a slight kick this way, but overall it's pretty straight. If I were to do that on this one, it would be a little too high, and it would look as if it was pointed inward in order to make that bend and have enough space to get that nut out, or in the case when it's fully finished, a bolt out, and have space for that spark plug. So what I did was I just moved it pretty much in the center of that yoke, and I went around it. So I went underneath, and it looks like there's a lot more space so I can get my finger in there, and I shouldn't worry about, there should be no clearance issues. And it looks a little bit more symmetrical. Looks a little bit better in my opinion, less forced. So yeah, so that's one thing. And then I got that lower section done, so all I have to do is get from there to there. I might have to trim that a little bit, maybe cut it back down to here and have it go down and turn in. So we'll see, but I'm gonna lift the car up and start working underneath. All right, so I got the number 7th cylinder finished. It was really tough getting this one done because you have that steering shaft in the way, and you also have to think about actually being able to take the headers off. So getting to those bolts and then being able to pull them out all the way, plus getting a tool on the spark plug to get it out. So there's a lot to think about, plus also running the 3 other tubes. So I got that one done. So now I'm working on the number 1 cylinder. It's gonna go up and over just like this one is, number 2 cylinder. And then it's gonna go over that steering shaft and then into this. So yeah, I got most of the upper portion done and got this done on the lower portion. So I just need to bring them together. So the next thing I need to do is figure out where I need to cut this in order to turn it up. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you can get the idea. So where I need to turn it up so that they can meet. So yeah. So basically mirror image. Yeah, so I'm gonna lower it back down and then finish the work from up top and then bring them together. That tube was very complicated, very tough, but we got it done. There's a perfect amount of clearance on the steering shaft. Nothing's touching, it's all good. Pretty symmetrical. So that one's all tacked up, good to go. So now I'm gonna work on these 2 middle ones. Halfway done. Okay, so I went ahead and did this 3rd tube off camera, only because it wasn't that complicated to do. But it came out really well. But I'm going to record this this last tube right here. So it's gonna have to come down in between that stud, I believe, and this tube. I gotta figure that out. Since these the radius on the tubing isn't that tight, it's gonna be a little tricky to to get it to turn down. And then I'm gonna have to bring it down here, and then have it curve up to be in line with this tube, and then follow that. So, shouldn't be too hard, but there's gonna be a lot of cuts for this one. So, let's get to it. All right, we are officially done with the design part of the headers. This side was probably one of the most difficult headers that I've ever had to make. This side was a little challenging, but pretty easy. This one was just on another level. So you see where I had to get the tube. The hardest part, I believe, was getting it in between the frame and that motor mount. I also had to think about which way the motor rotates when you give it throttle, just to give it some clearance on the frame. But so the clearance is pretty good. Also, this is a slip fit, so I can rotate it just a little bit if I need to. But yeah, came together really nice. I'm gonna lower it down and show you guys what it looks like from the top. You see the front header tubes look pretty much the same. So the next thing that we're gonna do is take all the header tubes off and get them welded up.